Availability zone we have discussed in isolation. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
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 So when I told you that, if you guys remember, I told you in availability zone, what will happen? 3 machines will be created in different zones, right? But data between them, how to sync, how to make sure the same data is there, that we haven't discussed yet. Same happens with availability set. In availability set also, what happens? Let's say multiple racks, they have been divided in multiple groups. So your first server will go on this set of racks, second server will go this set of rack, third will go here, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, like this again. But data, how to make sure that the data is synced, we haven't discussed that yet. So when we are talking about virtual machine scale set, that part will also get covered.
Okay.
So let me open this one. Okay. First thing, how to create virtual machine scale set. Like we create all the other resources. If I have to create virtual machine, I'll go ahead and search for virtual machine here, and I'll click on create here. I'll see existing one and I'll click on create. If I want to create a resource group, I'll click on resource group. I will see existing resource groups here, and I will get an option to create here. Sorry. And if I have to create storage account or whatever we have learned till now, whatever I have to create, I can simply go here and I can search for that resource. I will see my existing resources, for example, disk, and I can create another resource. Similarly, virtual machine scale set. So you have to come here and search for virtual machine scale set. Either you type it completely or you type VMSS and you will get virtual machine scale set. Then you click on create. Either you create here or you click on here, it's same thing. If I click on create, it will start creating the virtual machine scale set. We'll go and check each and everything one by one, but most of them we have already covered in virtual machine creation, so I won't repeat them. Okay, so let's say that if I'm using this subscription, whichever subscription you want to use, you select that subscription, whichever resource group you want to use. In your case, you will use your own resource group because you do not have access on someone else's resource group. So you cannot go ahead and create something here. You cannot go ahead and create something here unless you have ownership right on that resource group. In my case, I have access, so I'll create a new resource group. It becomes easier for me to delete. Now I'm giving this name not to a machine. This name will be to the virtual machine scale set. Look at this. It says virtual machine scale set name. Now, where do I want to create one? I'm happy to create anywhere. Let's stick to Central US. Availability set or availability zone, sorry. Sometimes you will see this option, sometimes you will not see this option, guys, depending on your subscription and what kind of subscription you're using, what kind of accesses are available to you. So you may not see this in while creating an availability zone also. So few people saw that option where they were able to check zones, and few of them did not see that option. You can look at this. This is not mandatory. You can leave it to none. I can leave it to none. Okay. But if I do select this, what will happen? Let's say if I'm selecting this, what is going to happen?
The virtual machine will get created.
And where these machines will get created?
3 different zones.
3 different zones.
Yes. So let's say if 3 machines are getting created here, or it means the 3 machines will get created. So let's say if I do not select zone, if I do not select zone, this is my first virtual machine scale set. Okay. Let's create it and you will understand. Let's create 3 zones I've selected. This one talks about the uh, you can say configuration of the machine. So it's always and highly recommended to go ahead with a uniform. You can go ahead with flexible, but I have never seen it. You always go ahead with uniform option. This one we have already discussed while creating virtual machine. Security type we keep to standard. Now here you can select the machine which you want to create. So let me select one image from which I want my machine to be created. Okay, like you have other images in marketplace, this is called marketplace. Okay, like you have another images, what you can do, you can create your machine, one machine you can create in isolation, do every settings on that. For example, if you want to install some software, disable firewall, create some specific username and user ID and password, etc., everything can be done on that machine, and you can save that machine as an image. So using that image, you can deploy all of your machines, all other machines. You can do that. That is what I have done. Look at this. I did not select an image from Azure gallery. I selected this image from my own gallery because in the past I had created one machine and I had did some settings in that machine that this will be to 2019. See, it doesn't even give me an option to select username and password. Why? Because I have already selected that here. I needed some CPU tester softwares in that. I have already put them here. So you can create an image of a machine and you can use that machine to deploy. And this has nothing to do with virtual machine scale set. This you can do in while creating a virtual machine also. And so it's same thing. Or I can simply go ahead and I can select 2012 or 2019 also, what we have been doing normally. You can do that also. You can go ahead, whichever image you want to select, you can do that also. In this case, I'm selecting this particular image because I have to show you some testing. Again, size, which size do you want? As of now, I'll take a small size. Username and ID, it won't allow me. The spot one, as of now, let's ignore it. We'll discuss this later. The spot one. Disk, we all know, if you want any extra disk, you want to attach an existing disk, etc., you know that. Networking, we have already discussed a little bit. Detailed networking, we are going to do that, so don't worry about it. I told you, whenever you get this as your load balancer, select it no until we come to that topic. Click on next. This is the main topic which we are discussing today. We're discussing our Azure virtual machine scale set. So here, this is the place where you give the parameters of scaling of scale set. First thing, how do you want the scaling policy? Manual or custom? Initially, I will just show it to you using manual, or I'll create two of them. First, let me show you the custom. Manual, it's very easy. Okay. So now what does it say? Initial instance count. What does it mean? What do you think it means?
Initially, it will increase to the virtual machine of size 2 if there is any increase and decrease of in the application.
What do you mean by size 2?
But
First thing, which scaling are we doing? Are we doing a horizontal scale or vertical scale?
Horizontal scale.
horizontal.
It will not change the size, guys. Remember it. I'm repeating again and again. Do not get confused. Do not go up in your interview. Here, if I understand that, okay, concept आप लोगों का clear है, it is just slip of tongue. Your interviewer is not going to understand that. And it's nothing against him or her. That person has only that much of time, that particular window to understand your knowledge. Yeah, so if you know the concept and just because of using wrong jargon, uh, if you do that, you may get rejected. Don't do that. So I'll explain it to you. What does it mean? Initial instance. Instance is nothing. It means machine. It means a machine. Simple. Okay, so instance count, initial instance count, that while creating this virtual machine scale set, how many virtual machines should be there? Can we have 0? It's
We'll have
okay, it
two.
takes, yeah. We'll have 2 here. What does it mean? At the time of creating, the moment I click on create, I will have 2 machines here. Okay, so if I come back to this one, do you still say that 3 machines will be created just because I have selected 3 zones?
No.
6 will be
No,
created.
no,
No,
neither
only
6
two.
nor 3. Only 2 machines will be created, but because I have selected this, what will happen? The first machine will get created in zone 1, second machine will get created in zone 3. Whenever we create a third machine, that will go to zone 3. Fourth machine, zone 1, and simultaneously it will start distributing. If we do not select this, your first machine will be in without redundancy, second machine will be no redundancy. I'm sure you guys remember that you can create multiple machines in selecting no redundancy. You can create multiple machines using zones. Is it clear, guys, to everyone?
Yes.
Just because I select 3 here, that does not mean I will get 3 machines. I'm gonna get only those number of machines which I select here initially. And we're not talking about manual as of now. We'll discuss manual. It's very simple and basic. We are talking about a custom policy. Most questions you
Soil
will
sir,
be, yes.
if soil sir we will be select 0, then it will be considered as a 1 when you have said that time when we are 0, 1, 2 like that.
No, it will be 0 then. I don't think
Okay,
it won't deploy any machines. If you can go ahead with 0,
okay.
unless it gives you some
Mhm.
error. If it has minimum number, let's see. Yeah, you can have 0. Then it will not create any machine. I mean, you won't have anything as of now. So minimum at least 1 should be there. Technically, it will accept 0, but doesn't make any sense. So, but we'll go ahead with 0, 2. Then I'm going with custom policy. This is the section, guys, where you'll get most of the questions around VMSS from this section. First is scale up, scale out difference. That's it. And then directly jump to this one. Now, what is the custom?
Sir, maximum how much we consider instance count?
Coming to that.
Maximum.
We are coming to that. We're coming to that. Don't worry. Okay. So here, initial instant count, I said 2. So the moment I click on create, I will have 2 machines. How about the other parameters? Let's check. The minimum number of instances. What am I saying? 1. What does it mean? That even if I start from 2, minimum there should be 1. So what is the criteria जब ये 2 से 1 हो जाएगा? That we are going to decide in next section here under scale out and scale in. But it will start from 2, and if the scale in policy, if scale in criteria meets, it will reduce the machine by 1. So ये हुआ आपका minimum. What does it mean? That at any given time, no matter whether there are traffic, there's traffic, there's no traffic, whatever it is, there should be 1 machine. Or let's start with this. Let's start with 3, and minimum should be 2. Is it okay? Is it? Did you guys understand this? What does it mean?
Yes.
So the moment I create this virtual machine scale set, I will have 3 machines. And because I have selected those zones, my machine 1 will be in zone 1, 2 will be in zone 2, and 3 will be in zone 3. If I uncheck those boxes, all 3 machines will be without any redundancy. But this remains same. If I'm selecting the initial instant count, it will be 3. Minimum, it will be 2. No matter what kind of traffic is there, no matter how low the traffic is, it will never go lesser than 2. You will always have 2 machines up and running. Maximum. Now, how many I can have maximum? 100 in this case. If I want to do more than 100, you will have to set some numbers and do some other settings, but you can have more than hundreds also. But in this one, whatever we are doing, we can have maximum as 100. Okay, but you will never see 100. Why? Because it will, you'll be end up paying too much for that. What we will see maximum, it's what I have seen normally 8 to 10. But here and guys, for your practical where you cannot afford more than 4 machines at a time, so your whole virtual machine scale set will break because you have a quota limit on your subscription. No matter what you're doing here, it will not work because there is a quota limit. I hope you understand that, right? So you have to make sure you design your solution, you design your everything considering your quota. So if your quota is a 4 machine, make sure your initial instance is 1, minimum is also 1, maximum say 4. Do something like this. So at least you'll be able to achieve your practical. Do one at a time. Once you're done, let me check. I will check and I will delete it. Do not send screenshot in this one because this needs a thorough check. Just let me know you're done with your practical. I will check and I will delete and let you know that it has been deleted so next person can do it. But in my case, I can go ahead and do it. 3 initial instances I want. Minimum number I want 2. Maximum number I want 5. I do not want to go ahead after creating 5 machine if it is still increasing. If the CPU and threshold hold is still increasing, let's say maximum 6. I do not want this to go to beyond 6. Is it clear to everyone? What does it mean now? What does it mean minimum? What does it mean maximum?
Yeah.
Yes, guys. Yes, no. Okay.
Yes.
One thing, can I keep the maximum number as 2? What do you think? Minimum 1 and maximum 2.
I guess no, because initially we'll have 3.
Okay.
To change the initial count.
Must be larger than the auto scale minimum number of VMs. Must be larger than the auto scale minimum. It has nothing to do with initial, guys. Initially I can have 10. It doesn't matter. Minimum से हमेशा ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. If I have minimum 3, then I cannot have 1. Then I cannot have 2. Then I cannot have 3. I must have a larger number to your minimum. Just put the logic here. This is fine. What does it mean? Initial का मतलब क्या है? The moment I hit here, click on create, it will create 10 machines. It's okay. And later when we see this threshold, उसके बाद वो धीरे-धीरे कम भी कर देगा. Let me show it to you. I will create 4 machines.
So it will be 10 plus 4 when it will be scaling up, scaling out.
No. We'll come to that. Are these 3 points clear to you? Initial instance, which means the moment I create, तब कितनी machines बननी चाहिए. That is your initial instance. Is it clear? Is this statement clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Minimum, at any given point, how many machines should be there minimum? That is, वो कब कैसे होगा? We are going to decide that. We are going to discuss that. Don't worry. But do you understand this statement? If I say minimum number of instances, it means at any given of point, minimum 2 machines will be there. You will never see less than 2 machines. So if I'm saying minimum 2 should be there, does it make any sense to say maximum number as 1? Maximum number should always be a greater number than your minimum number. So maximum here I can say, let's say 5 I am saying. Okay, is this clear now? What does it mean? Maximum number that if initially I have 4, for some reason it went to 2. We will see those reasons. And again, for some reason it is increasing now. 2 से 3 हो गया, 3 से 4 and 4 से 5. Will it go to the 6th one? Even if it is crossing the threshold, everything, will we
I
have
think
a
no.
6th
No.
machine?
No.
That's what it means. Okay, but here I'm making it 6. Minimum 2, initial 4, maximum 6. Now, on what basis will it get decided? What basis will it get decided? So it get decided on the threshold of CPU. If the CPU threshold goes more than 75% and it remains like that for 10 minutes, then how many numbers should increase? Let me explain it again, or let me show it to you. What is a threshold? I will show it to you. Let me open the task manager. In my task manager, guys, if you see this CPU utilization, can you see CPU utilization and memory utilization? So as of now, we are just dealing with CPU. Once you understand one thing, you can apply all these things to memory, to IOPS, everywhere. The logic is same. We are dealing with CPU. So now let's say if I give a condition that if the CPU threshold crosses 50%, so one more machine should get created. But look at the CPU threshold. Is it very stable? Look at how volatile it is. It will suddenly go to 49, 48, 50, 48. Look at this. So every time if it touches 50, and if my auto scaling start creating a machine, it will be a big mess. So what am I saying here? That if my CPU threshold reaches to 50 or 75, whatever, 75, and if that stays like that for 10 minutes, then only create a new machine. Is this clear, guys? Is this statement clear to you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now for training purpose, I'm gonna reduce this number. I think minimum we can have 5. I'll check if there are any changes. I'll try to 2. No, 5. So I will have to at least keep it for 5 minutes. Then only my new machine will get created. Fine. Now you want a new machine. How many machines do you want? Do you want to increase it by 1 machine? Do you want to increase it by 2 machines? Do you want to increase it by 3 machines? How many machines do you want to increase it by? That is the number you are giving here. So is this section clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's say that I created with 4, and for some reason it went to 2. We are going to discuss that reason. It is just next to that. Now I have 2 machines. So the balance of these 2 machines, or the average utilization of these 2 machines, it's crossing 75%. And it went 5 minutes. It stays like that for 5 minutes. So now I'm saying let's create new machines. So it is asking how many machines at a time. I have 2. I'm saying okay, let's start increasing number by 2. So it will create 2 machines. So how many machines will I have total then?
4.
4. And if I say it 1, then it will increase by 1. तो एक और machine बढ़ जाएगा, 3 हो जाएंगे.
3.
And if it is still, the threshold is still 75%, 5 मिनट वैसा ही रह रहा है, it will increase one more, it will increase one more. कहाँ तक जाएगा ये? one more करते हैं. Total कितनी machines?
6.
6.
Okay,
6,
one.
sir.
Can I directly put 10 here? What do you think? Can I increase the instance by 10? Do you think that's possible for me?
Yes, but it will be 6 consider.
No,
Yes.
maximum number
No.
of.
Yeah, all answers correct. I mean, your understanding is correct, guys. Got. But there were 2 questions. One is the maximum capacity. So yes, we can have 10, but not in this case. Why not in this case? Because I'm saying the maximum should be 6. So how can I ask them to create 10 machines? So if I tell them, okay, my maximum can be 20, and here I'm saying कि जैसे ही CPU 75 जाता है, आप 10 machines नए बना लो. I'm telling this, I'm giving these instructions to my virtual machine scale set. This is going to happen automatically, guys. So it is possible to have 10, it is possible to have 15, it is possible to have 20 also. As far as it is not crossing the capacity of my maximum one, if it is not conflicting with that, it is possible to have those numbers. And provided you have that much of CPU availability, that much of quota available in your subscription. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
So again, coming back to our example, I'm saying 6 here. If the CPU threshold of these 2 machines increases by 75%, wait for 5 minutes and then increase the number of machine by 1. ठीक है, बढ़ गया. ठीक है, 1 बढ़ गया, 2 बढ़ गए, 4 machines बढ़ गए. That's okay. I'm again back to this one. 4 or maybe 6 machines are there or 5 machines are there. 5th machine पे ऐसा लग रहा है कि अब इसके आगे traffic नहीं बढ़ रही है. It's okay. But now, do I need all those 5 machines? Will my traffic be same throughout the day? Or will I end up paying extra amount? Or do I have to go manually and decrease the machine? So for that, we have scale in policy. Now, what does it say scale in policy? Similarly, like we saw here, that if it is going beyond 75, then create the machine. Same thing I will say, the average of all these machine and the CPU utilization, if it goes beyond 30 or beyond 25, the number application owner will tell you the number. You don't have to worry about these numbers. You just have to tell them that something like this, it appear. Even you don't have to do that. Your architect team will sell it to them that this is what we have, would you like to use? They will decide कि threshold कितना होना चाहिए वगैरह. What you will have is a build sheet It will say virtual machine scale set. It will say whether you want availability zone or not, and you will have these parameters. You just should know where to come and how to configure. As an Azure implementation engineer, that's all you should know. So I am saying that if the CPU threshold goes 35% and below, and that stays for 5 minutes, though I'm not mentioning anywhere here 5 minutes, but it is understood, it is implied that it is taking it from here. Okay. No, that's not documented, but it is implied with experience. I can tell you it is taking, if the average of that goes 35% and below, that start decreasing the number of machines. And here you can increase by 10, sorry, 6 we have, right? So you can increase the machines by 5 or 4, even 5 will not work. By the way, why 5 is not working, guys? Can someone tell me? My maximum number is 6, and when I put 5, it is not taking. Why? The answer is right there in front of you. And I don't want to type the number, you'll get that error message over there.
Minimum is 2.
Yeah, so minimum is 2. If I type 5 here, total will be 7, because these two machines are always there, no matter what. These two machines are always there. And if the threshold crosses 75%, I'm asking it to create 5 machines more, which total becomes 7, which is going against this statement. Maximum should be 6. This is the reason it is not allowing me to create it. Okay, but 4 I can have. So let's say in this statement I'm saying increase it by 4. जैसे ही 75% हो जाता ना, आप 4 बढ़ा दो directly. It's okay. But when it comes to decreasing, I am not bound to use the same number. Look at this. I'm not bound to use 75%. Obviously, that is illogical. So I'm saying when it goes below 35, then only consider this, that it is working properly. In the second method, I'm saying, okay, if you increase the number of machines by 4, I was happy with that, but do not decrease it directly. It might happen that this is a traffic spike, a traffic flow is less just for 5 minutes. So don't decrease them immediately. Decrease them one by one. I'm happy that you created 4 of them together, but decrease it one by one. This is what you can decide here. So we'll again stick to 2. Now, do you understand, guys? If I create 4 machines, why will it go back to 2? Why do you think it will go back to 2? In what scenario?
Sir, threshold decrease there is the 35. That time it will be go down.
Yes. Initially, it will create 4 machines. Definitely, it will create 4 machines. It will run for some time. It will start checking what criteria do I have. It will see, okay, it says 35 and below. So I see it's 35 and below. It will decrease 1 machine and wait for 5 minutes. It will say it is still 35 and below. It will decrease another machine. And after that, it is again below 35. So will it decrease another machine?
No, it will not.
Why not?
Because we have selected minimum number of instances too.
Yes. Is it clear, guys, to everyone? For practice purpose, now I'm making this 80. You will not see it anywhere. Normally 75, and this one I'm gonna make 60, because it's hard to get a CPU below 35. Even if minimum things are working, look at this. My 50% is being used, so we will not be able to see this practical of decreasing and increasing. Is it clear, guys, to everyone, this section? This is very important for today's practical and for VMSS. Anyone has any questions, please do ask. Yes, guys. Yes, no, maybe.
So under basics tab,
Hmm.
we get an option of availability zone.
Hmm.
So we get only option of availability zone. Like other VMs, we had option of availability set and no redundancy. So is it by default availability set
Yes,
is applied?
availability, without availability set, your VMSS will not work. So it will definitely have availability set. You don't even have to create that. It will create automatically. So that is the reason it is not asking you here.
Okay.
Yes, guys. Any other questions? Not necessarily only on this tab, like he had a question on this one. Any tab, any other questions you have? We have 6 minutes. Once we stop the session, I will start creating this. And once it is created, I'll ask you guys to join. The rest, everything is same, guys. Management, health, advanced, review, and create, everything is same. Any questions in theory part, the practical which we did till now? Any questions, guys?
Number of instance to create increased by. So can we use 6 or I mean we can use 6 or just 2 only?
You can use any number as far as it is not crossing the maximum number of instances. So now you tell me, in this scenario, I'm telling that 2 has to be there minimum. In any cases, 2 will be there, right? So if I increase it by 6, what will be the total?
8.
And what does it say, my maximum number?
6.
So will it work in this case?
Okay. No.
Right. Plus, consider the thing that you have quota on your subscription. That is
Okay.
very and in the quota, you guys, it's not only with this subscription, free trial subscription, okay? Or your actual subscriptions will also have quota. Otherwise, app owners and application owners and test engineers and Azure engineers, they will keep on creating machines and they will forget to delete, etc. So you'll always see quota. Always there will be minimum numbers. Yes, guys. Any other questions?
Sir, maximum how
So-
much is there? We can use instance VM.
We just saw, right? How much can someone
100.
answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
1000.
No, it's 100. You can have 1000, but you have to do some settings for that. You don't have to worry about it as of now. It's a very simple question that how to get it 1000. But yes, for interview purpose, you can say that in basic, we can have 100. If we want 1000, we can have it. We'll have to do some, maybe connect with Microsoft team, get the quota increased, or some settings we have to change, but you can have 1000. Look at this, it is given here. Single placement group or over provision. So if you select single placement group, it's 100. I mean, I'll explain it later. So I didn't want to confuse you guys here, but it's not that important. Hence, I'm not bringing it here now. Okay, but you can stick to answer 100. That is what it says here.
Sohail,
Yes.
the CPU threshold, so which you have set it for 80 percentage. That should remain more than 80 or at 80 for the next 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
Even if it's like 79 or something between probably the 4th minute, would it just reset it back or start the counter from 1 minute again?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Sohail, what happened over here is that whenever there is as I'm doing a monitoring, okay, so now as this topic has came, I want to clarify my doubt. So I get the disk utilization of 75 and above for a threshold of CPU. Okay. So now in that situation, when I send an email to the team stating that we have got a disk utilization for that particular CPU, so they clean up and they bring it back to 80%. So like to the normal. So how it will be? Like what is
It's simple,
exactly
but you
it is
don't have to worry about it. It's very simple. Now look at this. My CPU is being used this much. I will check which application is using my CPU. Zoom. If I'm not using Zoom, simply right click, end the task, and my CPU will be free.
Acha.
But in this case, I'm
Okay,
using
okay,
CPU, so I won't do that. Let's say Google Chrome, if I want to close, I right click, end task, that much will be free. Edge, if I have to close, I can do this. Okay, guys, we have 2 minutes left. Okay, let me cover this one also. This is fine. Till here, it is fine. I was hoping this question from you guys, hence I did not cover that. Which machine will get deleted? Who decides that? Fine, I understood everything, whatever we discussed here. It's okay. That new machine will get created. If threshold is that, this will happen. Sorry? Yeah, where do you decide that? Okay, let's, but where do you decide that? In here, where do you decide it? App owner told you, what options do you have? Okay, let's say your app owner is asking you, what options do I have? Which machine to get deleted? Are you going to do that manually?
No.
Then, so here is the option, guys. Scale in policy, here it is. So if I select the newest, what will happen? Whichever the newest VM is created, that will get deleted. If I select the oldest one will get deleted. Clear?
Understand.
Okay, and this is the best option which I have always seen people using or clients using. Default one, leave it to the default. It will balance across all the availability zone and fault domain. Azure itself will do that. For example, now we have selected availability zone. So one machine is going there, second machine is going to next zone, third is going to next zone. So accordingly, Azure itself will delete. So at a time, you will have a machine in every availability zone. So we always stick to this one, but you should remember where do you say it and what are the options: newest, oldest, and default. These three options you just have to tell. Even if you don't explain, it's fine. Okay, less than a minute is left, guys. I will stop the session. We'll wait for 5 minutes. We'll come back. Before joining the session, I will start this. So when you guys join the session, you will see all the machines will be in progress. So see you guys in 5 minutes
Okay.
at 3:30. Same link.